Hello everyone, today we are going to go over some big news surrounding the House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel about the Targaryen Civil War known as the Dance of the Dragons. But before that, remember to like the video, it helps out the channel a lot, and subscribe and yada yada yada. Let's get to it. From HBO's Twitter account, we know that the show will be coming out on August 21st, 2022. So about 5 months from now, give or take. I looked back at the other official trailers for Game of Thrones, and they tend to drop them about a month before the premiere. So we won't be getting an official trailer anytime soon, but that doesn't mean we won't be getting teasers or promotional images. So you may remember with seasons 7 and 8, they released teasers that had nothing to do with either season. It just showed the characters and maybe a line of dialogue from the season. That is probably what we will get from now and until the trailer drops. I am super excited about this. I have no words. Are you guys excited? Let me know below. They also released some character photos today, and I will go over them now. The first photo is of King Viserys Targaryen. Remember, with Season 1, there will be 2 timelines happening. That is why we have 2 Alicent Hightowers and 2 Rhaenyra Targaryens. A younger version and an older version. I believe this is from the earlier timeline. This is the first photo we have seen of Viserys, and I think he looks great. We see that he has a Targaryen sigil on the front of his shirt, and it seems that he has a dagger with him as well. We can see the hilt of it. I believe this is the CATSPAW dagger. It is a Valyrian steel blade. If you watched Game of Thrones, you are familiar with it. It is the dagger Arya used to kill the Night King, and it popped up in the show throughout the seasons. Viserys was known as being a people pleaser, but when he made a decision, he stood by it, which we will see in the show. The next photo is of Prince Daemon Targaryen, the younger brother of Viserys. He is standing in the throne room, most likely talking to his brother on the Iron Throne. The sword he has is known as Dark Sister. It is one of the famed Valyrian steel swords of House Targaryen. The sword dates back all the way to Visenya Targaryen, Aegon the Conqueror's sister wife. Daemon is known as the Rogue Prince, so he is kind of a bad boy. He is considered to be one of the most dangerous men in Westeros, and like many Targaryens, had a temper. He liked spending his time with whores and cutthroats in Fleabottom, also giving him the nickname Lord of Fleabottom. The next photo is of Rhaenyra Targaryen, who is the daughter of King Viserys and the wife of Daemon Targaryen, which was her second marriage. It is hard to say where she is. She looks like she's wearing heavy clothing, so it must be kind of cold. She is probably just on Dragonstone, to be honest. She is wearing the Targaryen colors of red and black, which will be important. She looks great. I know people complained right away, but when you see her in her costume, she looks fine. People on Twitter can be ridiculous sometimes. Rhaenyra is set to be the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms when her father Viserys dies. Viserys made this proclamation after her mother died, failing to give Viserys a son. This bothered some of the High Lords because she was a woman, but nevertheless, they swore fealty. Rhaenyra was very close to her father, learning all she could about ruling. The problem for Rhaenyra is that Viserys remarried Alicent Hightower. The next photo is of Alicent Hightower, married to King Viserys and is the stepmother of Rhaenyra. She is wearing green, which is the color of House Hightower. Alicent and Viserys had children, which complicated things for Rhaenyra, because some people in the court thought Alicent's sons should sit on the Iron Throne instead of her. This kind of split the court, and 2 factions formed known as the Blacks and the Greens. The Blacks consisted of Rhaenyra and her supporters, and the Greens were in favor of Alicent and her sons. King Viserys had no clue his court was split into 2. We now see a photo of a young Rhaenyra and Alicent. Like I said, there are 2 timelines. The 2 seem to be pretty close here, so it seems that the 2 did get along for a little bit before their relationship soured. Most likely, once Alicent started having children is when this happened. That's the reason why they have to have 2 timelines. They want to show how these characters grew to hate one another. I'm sure some will be confused by this, but I think it's an interesting way to do it, and I trust the people working on the show to pull it off. The next photo is of Otto Hightower, the father of Alicent and the Hand of the King to Viserys Targaryen. You see the pin on his chest signifying this. You could say he was quite ambitious. He convinced the king to marry his daughter. Many of the other High Lords thought he overstepped his place in doing this. Otto hated Prince Daemon Targaryen. He thought he could be the next Maegor the Cruel if he ever got to sit on the Iron Throne. But there could be more to this story. There is a rumor that Prince Daemon slept with Alicent Hightower. Daemon was known for getting around, which this could explain why Otto hated him so much. The next photo is of Corlys Velaryon and Princess Rhaenys Targaryen. Corlys is known as the Sea Snake. He is the greatest explorer Westeros has ever known. And Rhaenys is his wife. She actually had a better claim to the throne than Viserys. Her father was the older brother to Viserys' father, but she was passed over for being a woman. They support Rhaenyra and her claim to the throne, so they are part of the Blacks. There is more, but I don't want to spoil things. Like, there's just so much info and backstory to all these characters. It's just really hard. The next character we see is Sir Criston Cole. He is a member of the Kingsguard. We see the new armor. It looks pretty cool. The Kingsguard's armor seems to change from king to king. We see that in Game of Thrones. Criston Cole was the sworn shield to Rhaenyra Targaryen in her younger days. She actually had a crush on him, which we will probably see play out in the show. He is quite the fighter. He beat Daemon Targaryen in a melee during a tourney, which is no small feat. The last photo is of MYSARIA, also known as Lady Misery. She was a lover of Prince Daemon, and she is from Lys. MYSARIA is the mistress of whispers for Daemon and Rhaenyra, so she did what Varys did pretty much, but she enjoyed a bit of torture as well, which we may see in the show. There is so much more I could go over, but to be honest, I have done a lot of videos already about the characters. I suggest if you want to know more about them, check those out. So, are you excited for House of the Dragon? Leave it down in the comments below, and if you want more House of the Dragon content, please subscribe and like the video, and check out the Twitter, link in the description below, and as always, have an awesome day.